Nuclear energy. You guys may think nuclear energy is just power plants and destruction, but in reality, it's so much more. Nuclear energy is a type of energy released from the nucleus, or core of an atom, made up of protons and neutrons. Nuclear energy can be gathered through two different ways, fission and fusion. Fission is the more commonly used method, so that's what we will mainly focus on. Nuclear fission is a reaction where the nucleus of an atom is split into multiple parts while releasing energy. When a neutron hits another uranium atom, it will split these neutrons, causing a chain reaction. Each time this reaction occurs, it is a release of energy in a form of heat and radiation. When in a nuclear power plant, this heat can be converted into electricity.
So you may be wondering, who discovered nuclear fission? Well, we have an answer. It all started about 75 years ago when three scientists, Dr. Otto Hahn, Dr. Lise Meitner, and Dr. Fritz Strassmann, were all conducting experiments in a chemistry institute in Berlin. Their experiment involved containing uranium in a paraffin wax box, which slowed down the neutrons so they could interact with the nucleus without disruption from the electrons and protons. Scientists later learned to create reactors that produce pressurized steam that move large turbine blades to drive magnetic generators to produce electricity.
You may be thinking, why are we telling you guys this if we're not even going to tell you what kind of things nuclear energy could power? Well, today's your lucky day, because we're about to explain what kind of things nuclear energy can power. Like we said earlier, nuclear energy can be converted into electricity, so it can power almost anything electric. Think about it. If electricity can power things like homes, schools, computers, and even the phone that's recording us, then nuclear energy can do the same. Now it's time for us to dive into some of the pros and cons of nuclear energy.
Some pros are carbon-free electricity, reliable energy source, and high power output. Some cons are uranium is technically a non-renewable source, high upfront costs, nuclear waste. And here's a fun one. A malfunction of a nuclear reactor could cause the destruction of a country or even our whole planet.
So here's a picture of a regular map, and here's a picture of a different map. Can you spot the difference? Well, I sure can. Let's just say a nuclear reactor malfunctioned in one of these countries, and they're not on this planet anymore. Can you tell me which country is gone? I know. How about I tell you? It's Kiribati.
The top 5 countries that produce the most nuclear energy are number 5, South Korea. Number 4, what you think would be higher, Russia. Number 3, what do you think would be popular for just making the most baguettes is actually number 3 in the world for producing the most nuclear energy, France. 2, China. And number 1, you guessed it, the United States of America.
In conclusion, the future of nuclear energy is our choice. We could either use it to destroy the world, or we could use it to power our greatest creations. It's up to us to decide what we do with the power we have at our disposal.
Back in the 1920s, there was a superhero named Nuclear Man, but people didn't like him.
What if the electronics we use in our day-to-day lives were nuclear?
Scientists later learned to create reactors that produce pressurized steam that drive large turbine blades to create magnetic generators that Scientists later learned to create reactors that produce pressurized steam that moves large turbine blades.
For example, when hit by a neutron.
Scientists later learned that to create